The wind screamed through the sky like a wild animal. Snow fell from above in thick waves, covering everything in white. On the side of a steep mountain, smoke rose from the wreck of a small alien ship. The ship had crashed hard, leaving a long, black trail in the snow. Inside the broken ship, an alien mother named Vera held her young daughter Luma close to her chest. Vera's skin was pale blue, with soft silver lines that glowed faintly. Her eyes were large and violet, full of worry. Her daughter, Luma, was only 5 cycles old. She was small and quiet, her body shaking in the cold. "Stay awake, little star," Vera whispered, wrapping her daughter in the last piece of thermal cloth. "Mama is here. We will be okay." But she knew that wasn't true. The ship's power was gone. The heater was broken. The emergency beacon was weak and almost out of energy. No one had answered the signal. No one even knew they were here. They had crashed on a frozen, uninhabited planet, far from any safe system. The planet was called Arctis 9, known only by explorers and outlaws. Its surface was ice, its winds sharp, and its nights colder than death. Vera looked around the wreck one last time. No supplies, no hope. She pulled Luma close and stepped outside into the snowstorm. The wind hit her like knives. Her thin boots sank deep into the snow with every step. Her body trembled from the cold, but she kept going. She was a mother, and mothers do not give up. After half an hour of walking, she found a narrow cave hidden behind a wall of ice. She stepped inside. The cave was small, barely large enough to hold them, but it blocked the wind. "This will do," she whispered. She sat down, holding Luma on her lap. The little girl's breathing was soft, slow, and fading. "Please," Vera whispered to the stars above. "Please, someone hear us." Far above, in the black sky, her broken signal beeped one last time. Miles away, a human man named Daniel Ross sat inside his survival tent, reading data on his wrist scanner. He was on Arctis 9 to study ice layers and map unexplored regions. He had been alone for 20 days and was used to silence, but then something strange happened. His scanner beeped. A signal. Weak. Alien. He said. He tapped the screen. It wasn't a natural reading. It was a distress signal. Old tech. Barely functioning. Daniel stood up quickly. He grabbed his gear. Thermal suit, rations, med pack, and a portable heater. He didn't think twice. Someone out there needed help. Back in the cave, Vera's hands had gone numb. Her arms felt heavy. She had wrapped Luma in everything she had, but it wasn't enough. The cave was dark. Her eyes were heavy. She leaned her head back against the cold wall, trying to stay awake. She began to whisper an old lullaby from her homeworld. The words were soft, broken, and full of sorrow. "Close your eyes, little star. The night will pass, near or far." But even her voice was fading. Suddenly she heard something, a sound in the snow outside. Not wind, not an animal. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Vera opened her eyes wide. Fear gripped her. Was it a predator? She covered Luma with her own body, her muscles weak but ready to protect. The sound grew louder. A light appeared at the mouth of the cave, a bright beam cutting through the storm. A figure stepped inside, human, tall, wrapped in heavy gear, carrying a pack and a strange device in his hand. His face was hidden behind a mask. "Hello?" the man called out. His voice was calm, but full of surprise. "Is someone here?" Vera didn't answer. She didn't trust him yet. The man slowly lowered his pack and pulled out a small round device. He placed it on the ground. It blinked red, then glowed orange. Warm air began to flow out of it like a mini sun. Vera blinked, confused. The human removed his mask, revealing a tired but kind face. His hair was dark and messy. His eyes were sharp. "But gentle! My name is Daniel," he said. "I got your signal." Vera tried to speak, but her lips were frozen. She just nodded toward Luma. Daniel knelt down and gently touched Luma's forehead. "She's freezing," he said, alarmed. He opened his med pack and injected her with a warming stim. Then he placed her inside his thermal blanket. He looked at Vera. "You too. You need heat now." Vera shook her head. "My daughter first," she whispered. Daniel nodded. "She's safe. Let me help you too." He gave her a small sip of warm liquid. She coughed but drank it. Slowly, the warmth filled the cave. The ice on Vera's hands began to melt. Luma's breathing became stronger. Vera looked at this strange human with wonder. "Why, help?" she asked weakly. Daniel smiled. "Because you're not alone anymore." That night, the storm raged outside, but inside the cave, the alien mother and her daughter were no longer freezing. They had been saved, just in time, by a human man who listened, who cared, and who came. Little did they know, this was only the beginning. The storm outside howled like angry spirits. Snow beat against the rocks. But inside the small cave, warmth had returned. Daniel Ross sat near the heater, checking his scanner. His eyes moved from the screen to the alien child, Luma, who now slept, peacefully under his thermal blanket. Her cheeks had color again. Beside her, the alien mother Vera leaned against the cave wall. Her skin was still pale blue, but her breathing had improved. She watched Daniel with tired but thankful eyes. Daniel spoke softly, not wanting to scare her. "The storm will last another day, maybe two, but we're safe here for now." Vera nodded slowly. Her voice was weak. "You came." Daniel smiled a little. "Heard your distress signal. Lucky I was nearby. Most of this planet is dead silence." He offered her a food ration bar. She looked at it with confusion. "It's not great," Daniel said, "but it'll keep you alive." Vera reached for it and took a small bite. She flinched at the taste, then ate more. Hunger had no pride. Luma stirred in her sleep. She mumbled something in her language and turned over, snuggling into the warm blanket. Daniel glanced at the child, then back at Vera. "Your daughter?" Vera nodded. "Her name is Luma. She is all I have." Daniel's face grew serious. "What happened? Why were you on this frozen planet?" Vera took a breath and told him in simple words. "We were escaping. Our people were attacked. My ship was hit. I tried to land safely, but this place..." She closed her eyes. "It was not on any chart. No one was supposed to be here." Daniel listened quietly. He didn't interrupt. "We crashed. I sent a weak signal. I hoped maybe someone would hear." "You're lucky I did," Daniel said. "If I came 1 hour later..." He didn't finish the sentence. They both knew what would have happened. Daniel stood and looked around the cave. "This place is small, not safe for long. We need something better." He stepped outside briefly. The wind hit his face like ice knives. He scanned the area, looking for a better shelter. Then he saw a natural rock formation nearby, half covered by snow but strong. A wider space, easy to seal with thermal fabric. He returned to the cave. "There's a better spot. I'll build a small camp. Bring you two there soon." Vera looked at him, unsure. "You help? Why?" Daniel shrugged. "I'm human. That's what we do." She stared at him. "Humans are strange." Daniel laughed. "Yeah, we are." For the next hour, Daniel worked fast. He used his survival gear to set up a dome-shaped tent in the nearby rock shelter. It had a heater, air filter, light panels, and a foldable sleeping pad. It wasn't luxury, but it was life. Then he carefully carried Luma to the new shelter, wrapping her tightly. Vera followed, using her last bit of strength. Inside the new shelter, the warmth was better, the light brighter. Luma opened her eyes and gave a small smile. "Mama," she whispered. "Warm." Vera's eyes filled with tears. Daniel turned on a small music player. Gentle earth sounds filled the space. Wind through trees, birds singing, waves crashing. Luma listened with wonder. "What is that?" she asked. Daniel knelt beside her. "That's what Earth sounds like. My home," Vera whispered. "It sounds peaceful." Daniel nodded. "It can be. Sometimes." As the storm raged outside, the three of them sat together in the shelter. Daniel boiled some nutrient soup using his heater. He handed each of them a cup. Vera took a sip and sighed. "Better than ship food." Daniel smiled. "Don't let Earth hear you say that." After a pause, he asked, "What are your people like?" Vera looked thoughtful. "We are called the Nalari. We believe in harmony, balance, and peace. But not all believe the same. Some want war, control. My husband was a scientist." He tried to stop them. "What happened to him?" Daniel asked gently. Vera looked away. "They killed him." Daniel's jaw tightened. "I'm sorry." Vera nodded. "We ran. I took Luma and escaped. We planned to hide in a far system, but the enemy followed. Our ship was hit. And now, we are here." Daniel looked at her with respect. "You're strong." "No," Vera said. "I'm just a mother." "Same thing," Daniel said. Later that night, as Luma slept again, Vera watched Daniel work. He was fixing a damaged drone. His fingers were quick, practiced. "You are a builder?" she asked. "Used to be," Daniel said. "Engineer. I designed star stations. Then one day they cut corners. My design failed. People died. I left. Came here to be alone." Vera said nothing for a while. Then she asked, "Do you still build?" Daniel paused. "Sometimes, but now I build for survival, not profit." Vera looked at the heater, the shelter, the food. "You saved us. You saved her." Daniel looked at the sleeping child. "She's worth saving." The storm lasted through the next day, but inside the shelter they had warmth, light, and food. Daniel checked the signal beacon again. It was still too weak. "I can fix this," he said, "but I'll need parts from your ship." Vera nodded. "I will show you." They returned to the crash site the next day. The ship was still buried in snow, but Daniel dug out what he needed: a power cell, some wiring, and the main beacon crystal. Back at the shelter, he connected the pieces to his own transmitter. The light turned blue. "It's ready," Daniel said. "I've boosted the signal. Someone will hear us now." Vera looked at him, her voice full of quiet amazement. "You did this for us." Daniel looked at her. "I didn't come here looking to be a hero, but I won't walk away either." She held out her hand. "Thank you, Daniel Ross of Earth." He shook her hand firmly. "You're welcome, Vera of Nalari." As night fell again, the stars shined above the frozen land. Inside the shelter, the human, the alien mother, and her daughter sat together, sharing food and stories. They came from different worlds, different lives, but now they were joined by one simple truth. Human or alien, it didn't matter. Kindness was the same in every language, and for the first time in many days, Vera allowed herself to believe that hope had returned. The sun rose weakly over the icy mountains. Its light touched the frozen land, but gave little warmth. On Arctis 9, morning looked no different from night. White snow, gray clouds, and endless cold. Inside the small shelter, however, there was life. The heater glowed softly, warming the space. Daniel Ross sat beside the small transmitter he had repaired, checking the signal strength. The boosted signal blinked steadily, now strong enough to reach passing ships. Nearby, Vera fed her. Daughter Luma a warm bowl of soup made from Earth rations. The child giggled as she tried to sip from the edge. "Slowly, little star," Vera said with a smile. Daniel watched and smiled too. Luma had changed in just 2 days. She was no longer pale and weak. Her cheeks were rosy. Her laugh filled the shelter like music. "You've got a strong kid," Daniel said. "She takes after her father," Vera replied softly. Daniel nodded. He didn't ask more. Some memories were too painful to dig up. Later, while Luma napped, Daniel stepped outside with Vera. The storm had passed. The sky was clear, but the wind still whispered through the snow-covered rocks. Daniel showed Vera the scanner. "The signal is out there now. A ship will come. Might take a few more days, but someone will hear." Vera looked at him. "You fixed it quickly." Daniel shrugged. "Old habit. Fixing things is what I do." "You are not like other humans I heard about," she said. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "And what did you hear?" Vera gave a small smile. "That humans are loud, dangerous, always chasing war." Daniel laughed. "Some are, but most just want to live in peace, like you, like me." She looked at him seriously. "Then why are you here? Alone on this frozen planet?" Daniel's face turned quiet. "I came here to forget. People died because of my mistake. I couldn't save them, so I stopped trying to save anyone." Vera touched his arm gently. "But you saved us." He looked at her, surprised. "I guess I did." As the days passed, the bond between them grew stronger. Daniel built more comforts for the shelter, a soft mat for Luma, a wind barrier outside, even a small heat lamp powered by solar energy. He gave Luma a small earth toy, a plastic ball that bounced and glowed. She loved it, chasing it across the shelter, laughing brightly. Vera watched her daughter with joy in her heart. It had been so long since she had seen Luma this happy. "You gave her childhood again," she told Daniel. "She deserves it," he replied. That evening, as snow began to fall again, the three of them sat together, eating their meal. Vera looked thoughtful. "I never trusted humans before," she said. Daniel looked up. "And now?" She met his eyes. "Now I trust one." Daniel smiled softly. "That's a good start." Luma climbed onto his lap, resting her head against his chest. "Tell story," she mumbled sleepily. Daniel chuckled. All right. One story before sleep." He told her a simple Earth tale about a brave dog who crossed frozen lands to save his village. Luma listened with wide eyes. Vera smiled as she watched. When the story ended, Luma was asleep. Daniel gently placed her on the soft mat. "She feels safe," Vera whispered. Daniel looked at her. "And you?" Vera paused. Then she nodded. "Yes, I do." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He stepped outside the shelter and looked at the stars. Cold wind brushed across his face. So much had changed in just a few days. He came to this planet to be alone. Now, 2 lives depended on him, and he didn't mind it. In fact, he felt alive again. Suddenly, a sharp beep came from his scanner. He looked down. The screen flashed. Movement detected, 200 meters. Daniel frowned. The signal was large. And moving fast, he rushed inside and checked the external sensors. Something big was out there, moving across the snow. Vera he said, waking her gently. "We might have a problem." She sat up quickly. "What is it?" "Something's approaching. I don't think it's friendly." Daniel grabbed his energy pistol and drone controller. Vera took a small weapon from her belt, barely working but better than nothing. They moved outside, hiding behind a rock. Near the shelter, snow blew across the land, making it hard to see. Then they saw it, a large creature covered in white fur and ice, 4 legs, long claws, glowing blue eyes. "A snow beast," Vera whispered. "Native predator. I saw pictures." During training, Daniel narrowed his eyes. "Didn't know they came this close to heat zones." "They do when they're hungry." The beast sniffed the air and growled. Luma was still inside. "We can't let it reach her," Daniel said. Vera nodded. "Then, we fight!" Daniel activated his drone. The small device flew into the air and flashed a red light, buzzing loudly. The beast turned its head toward the sound. Vera fired her weak blaster, hitting the snow near its feet. The creature roared and charged. Daniel ran to the side, shouting to draw it away. He led it toward a deep patch of ice he had noticed earlier, a frozen pond covered in thin snow. "Come on, big guy," he muttered, as the beast stepped onto the frozen pond. Daniel fired his energy pistol at the ground. The ice cracked. The beast howled in rage and surprise. One more shot. The ice broke completely, and the creature crashed through, falling into the freezing water. It thrashed, screamed, then went still. Daniel stood there, panting. His hands shook. Vera rushed to him. "You're insane," she said. He smiled. "A little." She looked at him seriously. "You risked your life." "I told you. I'm not walking away again." Back at the shelter, they checked on Luma. She was still asleep, safe and warm. Vera turned to Daniel. Her voice was soft. "You saved us again." Daniel nodded, sitting down beside her. "Let's hope no more things try to eat us." They both laughed, the tension finally easing. Vera looked at him and said, "I didn't believe in miracles, not until now." Daniel looked at her. "I didn't believe in second chances, but maybe I was wrong." As they sat quietly, watching over the child between them, the sky above glittered with stars. And in the darkness of the universe, 3 souls, human, alien mother, and daughter, had found something precious in the middle of a frozen world: family. The morning sun was hidden behind thick gray clouds. The wind was colder than before, and the snow seemed to cover everything deeper than ever. Outside the small shelter on Arctis 9, the world was white and quiet, but danger was close. Daniel. Ross packed his tools quietly. His eyes scanned the horizon. The frozen land was beautiful but deadly. He was determined to protect Vera and her daughter Luma, no matter what. Vera sat near the warm heater. She was tired but alert. Luma played with her glowing toy ball, happy and safe inside the shelter. But Vera's heart was heavy. She knew this. Planet had secrets, and they were not safe here forever. Daniel looked up suddenly. "We have a problem," he said. Vera stood quickly. "What is it?" Daniel pointed to the snow-covered valley. "I saw tracks last night, big ones. Something is moving closer." Vera's eyes narrowed. "A predator?" "Yes. A large ice predator. It hunts in these mountains." She grabbed her weak blaster. "We must prepare." The day passed slowly, with nervous eyes watching the snowy landscape. Daniel set up alarms and traps around the shelter. He placed small heat sensors and motion detectors connected to his drone. Vera kept Luma close. "Stay inside," she told her daughter. Luma nodded but looked worried. At dusk, the wind rose. The shadows grew long and dark. Daniel checked the sensors again. "Something's coming," he said. Outside, the silence was broken by a low growl. Suddenly, a large shape appeared. The ice predator. It was huge, covered with thick white fur and sharp claws, eyes glowing blue like frozen fire. Its breath steamed in the cold air. It sniffed the wind, searching for prey. The predator moved slowly but surely toward the shelter. Daniel aimed his energy pistol and fired a warning shot. The beast stopped and growled louder. Vera stepped forward, holding her blaster steady. "Go away!" she shouted. The predator charged. Daniel threw a flare to the side to distract it. The beast turned toward the bright light and roared. Daniel activated his drone. It flew low and flashed red, making noise. The predator growled and swiped at the drone with a huge paw. Daniel ran to the shelter door. "Get inside! Now!" Vera grabbed Luma and rushed inside. Daniel closed the door behind them. The beast smashed against the shelter wall, shaking the whole structure. Inside, Luma screamed. Vera held her tight. Daniel fired more shots at the predator. Outside, the creature growled in anger, but stayed near the shelter, waiting. Daniel's mind raced. They couldn't stay trapped forever. He looked at the map in his hand. There was a deep frozen lake nearby. If he could lure the predator there, maybe he could trap it. He said to Vera, "I will try to lead it away. Stay inside and keep Luma safe." Vera shook her head. "No, you cannot do this alone." Daniel smiled weakly. "I have to. It's the only chance." Vera nodded. "Be careful." Daniel stepped outside into the cold night. The predator watched him, eyes shining. He shouted and ran toward the frozen lake, with the beast following close. The snow crunched under his boots. The wind cut through his clothes, but he kept running. He reached the lake. The ice was thin in some places. Daniel fired his energy pistol at the ice. It cracked loudly. The predator stepped on the thin ice and suddenly fell through the freezing water. It thrashed wildly, trying to get out. Daniel ran to the edge and threw a strong cable toward the beast. With great effort, he pulled the predator out of the water. It was angry and exhausted. He quickly secured it with heavy chains from his pack. Back at the shelter, Vera held Luma close. Tears filled her eyes. "He is brave," she whispered. Luma looked up. "Warm man." Vera smiled sadly. "Yes, he is," Daniel returned, cold and wet, but alive. He collapsed inside the shelter. Vera and Luma helped him sit by the heater. "You saved us again," Vera said softly. Daniel smiled weakly. "We save each other." The predator was no longer a threat, but the danger reminded them all that Arctis 9 was not a safe place. Vera looked at Daniel. "Why do you stay here, so far from home?" Daniel looked at the glowing heater, then at Luma playing. "I came here to hide, but now I have a reason to fight, to protect." Vera nodded. "We are lucky to have you." Daniel looked at the mother and daughter. "Maybe. This is my new home." The night was quiet again. The stars shone bright above the frozen mountains. Inside the shelter, the small family sat together, warmed by the fire and by hope. They had survived the cold, the storm, and the beast, and they knew the hardest part was still ahead. The frozen world of Arctis 9 was still and quiet. The cold wind had slowed to a gentle breeze. The stars sparkled like diamonds in the clear night sky. Inside the small shelter, Vera, Luma, and Daniel sat close together. The warmth of the heater wrapped around them like a soft blanket. The battles, the dangers, and the long, cold days were behind them. For now. Daniel was staring at the communicator. It beeped softly. The signal he had boosted days ago was finally answered. A voice came through, rough but clear. "This is the Nalari rescue ship, Silaris. We received your distress call. Prepare for immediate extraction." Vera's eyes filled with tears. She looked at Daniel. "Help is coming." Luma clapped her small hands and smiled. The next hours were busy. Daniel helped Vera pack their few belongings carefully. The warmth of the shelter felt safer than the freezing world outside. But their time here was over. Vera held Luma close. "We will leave this world soon." Daniel looked at the two aliens with a new feeling in his chest, a mix of sadness and hope. "Will you come with us?" Vera asked quietly. Daniel blinked in surprise. "Me? Where?" "To our home. To help rebuild," Vera said. Daniel thought for a moment. He had come here to be alone, but now he felt something new, a sense of belonging. He nodded slowly. "I will come." Outside, the Nilari rescue ship landed gently on the snow. Its white hull shone under the stars, with bright blue lights and tall wings. The doors opened, and a group of Nilari officers stepped out. They were tall and graceful, their eyes full of curiosity and respect. The commander approached Daniel first. "Human Daniel Ross," she said. "Your help saved lives. The Nilari owe you much." Daniel bowed slightly. "I only did what anyone would do," the commander smiled. "Few humans would. Your kindness is rare and precious." Vera stepped forward, holding Luma's hand. "We are grateful. Daniel saved us from death in the cold." Luma smiled shyly at Daniel. "Warm man?" Daniel laughed. "I like that name." On board the Solaris, the three of them settled in a warm cabin. Vera showed Daniel holograms of their homeworld, a green planet with blue seas and glowing cities. "We lost much to war," she said softly, "but we still have hope." Daniel looked out the window at the stars. "I want to help your people. Maybe together we can build a better future." Vera smiled. Together. Days later, the ship reached Nilari space. The planet below was alive with color and light, a sharp contrast to the frozen white world they left behind. People greeted them with smiles and kindness. Children ran and played. The air was warm and sweet. Daniel felt a strange joy he had never known. He had come to Arctis 9 to escape pain and loneliness. Instead, he found a new family. Vera held Luma's hand as they walked through the city. "You saved us all," she said to Daniel. Daniel smiled and looked at the bright sky. "No," he said, "we saved each other." That night, under twin moons, Daniel stood outside the Nilari city. The cold was gone. The stars shone brighter than ever. He thought about the small cave on the frozen planet, about the moments of fear, hope, and courage. He knew the journey ahead would be hard, but with Vera and Luma by his side, he was ready. For the first time in a long time, Daniel believed in something bigger than himself. He believed in family, in kindness, in the strength of humanity, and in the vast galaxy where stars waited to be reached. He smiled, because now he was not alone.